If someone shows these signs, they're melting inside when you're near. Modern stoic. At first glance, they seem calm, maybe even aloof, but something about their presence feels different. Their gaze holds a little longer than usual. Their hands subtly shift when you're close. It's as if they're fighting to maintain composure, while deep inside, their feelings are beginning to unravel. In my years as a psychology expert, I've witnessed this dynamic time and time again. When emotions surge but words stay trapped, the body can't help but reveal the truth. And trust me, that silence speaks volumes. Many people try to mask these signs, whether from fear, uncertainty, or simple denial. But emotions don't ask for permission. They manifest in fleeting glances, subtle gestures, or even the way someone inhales when you walk into the room. In this video, I'll show you the psychological cues that reveal when someone is silently melting inside just by being near you. They're often overlooked, but once you learn to recognize them, they'll be impossible to miss. Let's begin unraveling this unspoken language together. Love is not something you look for. Love is something you become. Alina Villasante. Sign 1. The gaze that keeps coming back. Pay close attention to their eyes. It's a dance of attraction and avoidance, a subtle push and pull that's impossible to ignore. They glance at you, but not too long. Then, as if caught in the act, they look away quickly, as if you've just uncovered something they weren't ready to share. But here's the catch. It's not accidental. Their eyes, those fleeting glances, they're trying to tell you something deeper than mere attraction. This is the silent struggle within. This is a modern stoic at war with themselves. The gaze that seems to pull away, yet always circles back, is a sign of inner conflict, a form of emotional chaos wrapped in restraint. Psychologists call it approach-avoidance conflict, a term that describes the tug-of-war between the desire for closeness and the fear of being exposed or vulnerable. They want to connect, no doubt about it, but the old stoic part of them is terrified that if they give too much away, they'll be stripped bare, vulnerable in ways they aren't ready to be. So they retreat, but not far. Their eyes keep coming back to you, like a magnet they can't resist, even when they know they should. In a crowded room, amidst the noise and distractions, it's clear as day. You'll catch them staring from across the room, then quickly looking away, hoping you didn't notice. But you did. And this back and forth, this subtle yet telling game of eye contact, is not just a sign of attraction, it's a sign of emotional intensity, a force they're desperately trying to keep under control. They may act indifferent, even aloof, but their gaze betrays them. Their subconscious is already reaching for you, while their mind is desperately trying to make them retreat. The modern Stoic understands this struggle better than most, how the heart desires, but the mind seeks safety. This conflict, this constant back and forth, it's not just about physical attraction, it's a deeper need to connect, a need that the mind, ever protective, is desperately trying to suppress. So what does this mean for you? Don't mistake their avoidance for indifference. Don't take their fleeting looks as mere passing interest. The battle they're fighting is real, and it's happening in the deepest corners of their heart and mind. They are torn between what they want and what they fear. This is the blessing of Stoicism, where the Stoic remains calm and composed on the surface, but inside, a storm rages. Watch closely. Their eyes are telling you everything you need to know. By focusing on the modern Stoic's inner turmoil, you can see through the facade of indifference and recognize the emotional vulnerability beneath. It's not about dismissing their glances as simple attraction. It's about understanding the psychological forces at play, the way the old Stoic in them wants to remain closed off, and how the modern Stoic must learn to balance that with a deep desire for emotional connection. That glance they try to hide, that fleeting moment when their gaze lingers just a little too long, it's more than just attraction. It's a battle between their desire and their fear, and once you learn to recognize it, you'll understand the real depth of what's going on. That is the real truth beneath their silent eyes. Sign 2. Nervous energy, the fidget, the sigh, the hidden smile. You've seen it. They try to keep it together, remain calm, composed, but their body has a different plan. Maybe they keep adjusting their sleeves, tapping their fingers on the table, or running a hand through their hair as though there's something physically wrong. But there isn't. It's subtle. It's almost imperceptible, but it's there. The way they seem to fidget when you're near, the nervous energy they can't quite hide. This is no accident. It's what psychologists call a displacement behavior. Simply put, when someone feels emotionally overwhelmed, whether from excitement, anxiety, or even fear, the brain takes all that nervous energy and channels it into small, seemingly insignificant physical actions. It's a coping mechanism, a way to release pressure when the emotions they're feeling are too big to express with words. But it doesn't stop there. The sigh. That deep, quiet exhale, almost imperceptible, but filled with a weight that tells you they're feeling something more than what they're willing to admit. It's like their body is trying to speak, even though their mouth remains shut. Then comes the hidden smile, that brief moment when you say something simple and their face betrays them. For a fraction of a second, a soft, warm smile breaks through their guard before they quickly mask it again. It's fleeting, but it's there. And in those brief flashes, you can see it. A heart desperately trying to stay composed while secretly melting in your presence. This is the essence of Stoicism in motion. The old Stoic knows the value of restraint, of keeping a calm, controlled exterior. But even the most disciplined Stoic knows the heart doesn't always follow the rules. So when emotions overflow, they get channeled into physical movements. And it's in these small gestures, the tapping, the sighing, the hidden smile, that the Stoic life reveals its vulnerabilities. It's not that they don't want to show you how they feel. They're just struggling to keep their emotions in check, trying to stay true to the Stoic lessons of composure and control. But make no mistake, these aren't meaningless gestures. They're a window into a heart that's doing its best to keep it together while slowly falling apart in your presence. The body speaks when words are too risky. It reveals the truth that the Stoic mind is trying to hide. It's like a quiet rebellion against the Stoic principles they've spent so long mastering. And when you catch those subtle shifts, whether it's a sigh, a tap, or the curve of a hidden smile, you're seeing something deep, something profound. You're seeing someone who, despite their attempts to remain composed, is being undone by the very presence of someone they can't ignore. Now, don't mistake these signs for something small or trivial. They're not. These are the subtle clues that tell you something much bigger is happening beneath the surface. You must understand that when someone fidgets, sighs, or smiles in this way, they are emotionally exposed, and yet they are trying their hardest to maintain their Stoic composure. It's a delicate balance between the heart and the mind. The Stoic lessons of control, of calm, are being tested in real time, and while they try to stay firm, their body betrays them in the most human of ways. So pay attention. When someone starts to show these signs, those small, nervous gestures, you are witnessing the struggle between their Stoic exterior and the emotional storm brewing inside. Don't dismiss it. Don't ignore it. The Stoic life isn't just about restraint. It's about learning to manage the chaos inside. And sometimes, that chaos comes out in the smallest, most unexpected ways. It's these little signals that remind us the heart has too much to say, and sometimes it can't help but speak through the body. If you've ever caught someone fidgeting, sighing, or hiding that smile when you're around, you know exactly what's going on. Drop a comment right now. I see the truth in their silence. Like this video, subscribe for more insight into the Stoic mind, and remember, the body always speaks what the heart can't. Sign 3. They mirror you without realizing it. Look closely. You lean in, and they do too. You cross your arms, and a moment later, they follow suit. It's subtle, like an unspoken dance, almost as if you're in sync without trying. But here's the truth. They're not consciously copying you. Their mind is simply responding automatically because, emotionally, they're in tune with you. This is called mirroring. It's one of the most powerful, unconscious signs of deep emotional connection. When someone mirrors your posture, tone, or even energy, it's not a coincidence. It's their brain trying to establish rapport, to say, I feel safe with you. I want to connect. It's instinctive, almost reflexive. It's what happens when someone is deeply affected by your presence. This mirroring isn't about imitation. It's resonance. When someone is emotionally stirred by being near you, their actions, gestures, and body language will begin to reflect yours. It's as if your emotional frequencies are syncing up, without either of you even realizing it. This is the unspoken power of human connection at work, and it can't be faked. If their heart is stirred, they can't help but reflect on your energy, whether they're aware of it or not. They're resonating with you, just as two musical notes of the same pitch naturally align. This is not manipulation. It's nature's way of saying, we are in sync. And when you start noticing these subtle echoes of your own behavior, whether it's in the way they speak, their gestures, or the way they move, pay attention. This is the deep, unconscious signal of emotional resonance. They may not say it, but their body is telling you they're melting inside when you're near. This isn't some abstract theory. It's science, it's psychology, and it's the foundation of building real, meaningful connections. The Stoic principles of control and emotional restraint may teach us to master our actions and thoughts, but even the modern Stoic knows our bodies are the ultimate betrayers. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoics, said, "The soul becomes dyed with the colour of its thoughts." When someone's heart is moved by you, they can't help but reflect that emotion in their body language. It's automatic. It's undeniable. You must recognise these signals for what they are, proof of the invisible connection between you and them. Pay attention. Don't ignore it. That subtle mirroring is a clear sign that their emotional state is deeply affected by your presence. They are in sync with you, even if they're not ready to admit it. You must use this understanding to recognise the power you hold in these moments. In modern life, we often focus on what's said and what's done. We focus on the explicit, the obvious, the measurable. But it's the subtle things, the body language, the unconscious behaviours that tell us more than any words can. The Stoic knows this. They know the power of control, but they also understand the human need for connection. Let this be a reminder. When someone mirrors you, it's a reflection of their emotional state, their desire for connection, their inner melting, all happening beneath the surface. So don't let these signs slip by unnoticed. When you see them, it's a message. It's a powerful indication that they're emotionally in sync with you, whether they're ready to admit it or not. You must use that insight to understand the depth of your connection. Recognize it. Own it. Be the Stoic who knows both restraint and emotional power. Sign 4. The voice cracks or softens around you. You're having a conversation, and suddenly their voice cracks, softens, or falters for just a moment. It's almost imperceptible, but you catch it. Maybe a slight stammer, a hesitation in their speech, or a shift from their usual tone to something gentler, more vulnerable. This isn't an accident. It's not random. When someone is emotionally affected, their voice is often the first place it shows. The voice is directly tied to the nervous system, which means anxiety, attraction, or deep emotional connection can physically alter how we speak. A cracked voice, a soft laugh, or a whisper that wasn't there a moment ago. These aren't just quirks or random happenings. They're signs of emotional exposure, signals that the heart is speaking louder than the mind. You've seen it before, haven't you? They talk to others with ease, their voice steady and confident. But when it's just you, something shifts. The tone becomes softer. The pitch lowers as if they're trying to hide something deep inside them. That's a tell. That is their emotional truth sneaking out in ways their words can't. And when you realise it, it's clear they're melting inside when they're near you. When someone's heart is stirred just by your presence, it doesn't just affect their thoughts, it changes their very essence. And that essence leaks out in every spoken word, in every trembling syllable, in every shift in pitch. This is powerful, and you must understand it. The voice is more than just a tool for communication, it's the body's natural response to emotion. The nervous system is a powerful force. When someone feels anxiety, attraction, or longing, their body tries to compensate by altering the sound of their voice. It could be a softening, a gentle quiver, or a sudden pause in their speech. These aren't mistakes. These are unconscious signals. Their body is betraying them. The mind might try to hide the truth, to keep their emotions in check, but the voice can't lie. It's a window into their soul, into what they're truly feeling deep inside. Now, let's bring this back to the world of the modern Stoic. The modern Stoic knows the power of control. They practice discipline, holding their emotions in check, guiding their thoughts and reactions with intention. But even the most disciplined Stoic will have moments when their emotions slip through the cracks. That's where the voice becomes their betrayer. The Stoic life teaches us to remain calm, to maintain control, and to master our reactions. But when someone is truly moved by another, the voice is one of the first places that betrayal shows itself. The blessing of Stoicism is in recognizing the strength that comes with emotional restraint. But there's also power in understanding how we can't always control every physical reaction to intense feelings. If you notice their voice cracking or softening when they speak to you, don't just ignore it. That's a clear sign that the emotional connection is deeper than you might think. It's not just about their words or their actions, it's how they feel when they're around you. That shift in their tone, that brief faltering in their voice, it's their heart speaking when their mind tries to remain stoic. Their body is saying what their mind is not ready to admit. The old Stoic might try to mask those emotions, but when someone is deeply moved, the voice can't keep the truth hidden. You must recognize this for what it is. When someone's voice softens or cracks around you, it's not a mistake or an isolated event. It's a clear, unmistakable signal that they are emotionally exposed. It's as if the very act of speaking becomes too much to control because their feelings are so strong, so overwhelming. Their voice, in that moment, becomes their most honest expression. It's their vulnerability, their heart's raw emotion, all seeping out in the softening of a tone, the quick shift in pitch, or a gentle sigh that carries unspoken meaning. This is the essence of connection, the moment where emotional boundaries start to slip and the Stoic armor cracks just a little bit. So the next time you notice the shift in someone's voice, pay attention. Don't just hear the words they say. Listen to the tone, the hesitation, the quiet vulnerability that may be hidden between the syllables. That voice, that subtle change, is telling you something far more significant than any conversation ever could. It's revealing the emotions they're trying so hard to suppress. It's showing you that when they're near you, something inside them stirs, something powerful and deep. And that, my friend, is where real emotional connection lies. Don't let this pass unnoticed. The Stoic understands the importance of control, but they also know that real connection goes beyond the surface. The heart cannot always stay hidden. It has its own way of speaking, and sometimes that voice cracks or softens, revealing everything you need to know. When you catch it, know this: they are melting inside. Their emotions are responding to you in ways they can't hide, and that's where the real magic of connection begins. So next time you hear that shift, remember, the voice never lies. If you recognize these subtle signs in someone's voice, take note. This is more than a mere slip. It's emotional truth escaping. Like, comment below, and share this with someone who needs to understand the power of connection. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights. Comment to affirm. Their voice says what their heart can't hide. Sign 5. Their guard is up, but they let you in just a little. You can feel it. They're holding back, and you can sense that invisible wall they've built around themselves. It's subtle, but unmistakable. Maybe they crack jokes when the conversation starts getting too real. Maybe they shift the topic when it begins to drift towards something deeper, something more personal. They're keeping you at arm's length, not quite letting you in. But then, without warning, They reveal something personal, a small vulnerability, a truth they didn't plan on sharing. It slips out like a secret escaping through a crack in their armor. It's almost as if they can't help themselves. In that moment, you know something deeper is at play. This is called conflicted vulnerability. It's not that they don't want to connect, it's that they're afraid to. They're scared of being fully seen, fully known, yet they can't help but offer you little glimpses into their inner world. It's a powerful, emotional tug of war. Their mind is telling them to hold back, to protect themselves, but their heart is telling them that there's something real between the two of you. It's a silent message. I'm scared, but I trust you more than I want to. In the world of Stoicism, the Stoic individual is taught to maintain a shield to protect their emotions from being overly exposed. The old Stoic prided himself on restraint, mastering the art of detachment from external events and emotional turmoil. But the Stoic life doesn't mean completely shutting others out. Even the modern Stoic knows that vulnerability is part of the human experience. And when someone is emotionally melting in your presence, their defenses don't just fall all at once. They fall in pieces, in pauses, in almost confessions, in fleeting moments when their eyes speak more than their words ever could. And that's exactly what you're witnessing when they open up just a little bit. You must understand that this guarded behavior isn't a sign of rejection, it's a sign of internal conflict. The more they try to hold back, the more their true emotions will slip through in cracks, in subtle gestures, in brief moments of honesty they didn't mean to give you. It's not by accident that they let you in, even if just for a brief second. It's not random. They are showing you their heart in the only way they feel safe doing so. It's as if the walls they've built to protect themselves are slowly but surely beginning to weaken. So what does this mean for you? When you see this guarded behavior, don't push harder. Don't try to force them to open up. The Stoic principle of patience and understanding teaches us that emotional walls can't be breached with force. Instead, recognize the moment for what it is, an invitation, a small glimpse into their world. They're not ready to fully drop their defenses, but they want you to see them anyway. They want you to see the raw truth that's buried beneath the layers of protection they've created. This is where the real challenge lies for the modern Stoic. Yes, it's important to keep control, to stay composed, but it's equally important to allow others to get close. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's strength in its purest form. And when someone opens up to you, even a little, it's a sign of trust, a sign that you've earned a place in their emotional world. Don't take it lightly. Don't ignore it. When you notice them holding back, yet still revealing small pieces of their true self, remember this. It's a heart torn between fear and desire. It's a heart that wants to trust, but doesn't know how. And your response should be one of patience and understanding. Don't demand more than they're ready to give. Instead, show them that you're someone they can trust, that you'll respect the fragile vulnerability they've shared. In time, their defenses will weaken further, and the door will open wider. In the end, don't be fooled by the walls they've built. Beneath it, there's a person who wants to be seen, a person who is melting inside, piece by piece. They just need to trust you enough to let you in completely. So stay present, stay patient, and let them know you're here for the parts of them they've kept hidden. That's the true power of connection, and that's how you build a deeper, more meaningful bond. Sign 6. Emotional delays. You notice it. The delayed responses, the long pauses before they send that message. They rewrite it 5 times, deleting and retyping, carefully choosing each word like it's a matter of life and death. It's not that they're uninterested. It's that every word matters too much. They're not just texting, they're navigating a storm of overthinking. They're worried about sending the wrong emoji, about revealing too much, about making a mistake that could expose how they really feel. It's not indifference, it's emotional pressure. Psychology calls it impression management under emotional load. When someone feels deeply, they become hyper-aware of how they're being perceived. So instead of firing off a quick, easy message, They hesitate, they edit, they pause. Sometimes they even go completely silent, not because they don't care, but because they care too much. This behavior isn't a sign of someone pulling away. It's a sign of someone who feels too much to express easily. Every text becomes an emotional minefield. They overthink everything, trying to craft the perfect response, fearing that any slip will reveal the depth of their feelings. This is a clear sign of inner conflict, and it's far from rare in our fast-paced, text-driven world. In fact, we've all been there at some point. We've all had moments where a simple message felt like a confession, where we hesitated to say the wrong thing, even though we desperately wanted to speak from the heart. The Stoic knows the importance of emotional restraint, but even the modern Stoic understands that this type of overthinking is a natural part of being human. Marcus Aurelius himself said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." It's a powerful reminder that while we can control how we react, emotions don't always listen to logic. In modern life, especially with the constant barrage of digital communication, it's easy to forget that the person on the other end of the phone is not just a screen. They're human. They feel. And when someone is emotionally invested in you, every interaction, no matter how simple, becomes a reflection of how much they care. So don't mistake emotional delays for disinterest. They're doing their best to navigate their feelings, and that takes time. If you notice that they respond more carefully to you than to others, or if their tone seems strange or distant in text, but they're warm and present when you're together, it's a sign that they're wrestling with inner turmoil. It's not that they don't want to communicate with you, it's that they're so aware of how their words could reveal too much too soon. As a modern Stoic, you must recognize the power of emotional discipline. Stoic principles teach us to control our emotions and reactions, but they also teach us empathy and understanding. The next time you notice someone's delayed response or overthinking their words, don't judge them. Don't dismiss it as a lack of interest. Recognize it for what it is: a heart trying to protect itself from emotional vulnerability, a mind caught between wanting to express feelings and fearing what that expression might bring. You must show patience, understanding, and the wisdom to know that emotional delays often reflect a person's inner struggle to remain composed, while their heart is telling them to open up. Remember, when someone is melting inside, even the simplest message becomes a difficult confession. They're carefully considering their words because they fear the weight of what they might say. It's a sign of emotional depth. And if you're paying attention, it's a sign that they care far more than they're letting on. Be patient. Let them find their rhythm. And when they do open up, it will be worth the wait. If you're paying attention, you've already begun to understand something few do. Most people overlook these subtle signs, dismissing them as normal behavior, but now you know the truth. You're ahead of the curve. Please comment below. I recognize the depth of emotional connection. Like this video, subscribe for more insights. And remember, when emotions are overwhelming, even silence speaks volumes. Sign 7. Their presence lingers even in absence. You keep running into them. It doesn't feel like coincidence. It's almost as if fate is guiding your paths. They're around, but not in an overt way, just enough for you to notice. A shared space, a casual question in a group chat, a comment that feels like it's directed straight at you. This isn't random. What you're experiencing is emotional orbiting, a psychological pattern where someone who can't directly express their feelings still finds subtle ways to stay close to you. It's like they're trying to remain in your world without crossing any clear boundaries. You hear their name in passing. You see their shadow in places where they shouldn't be. It's not manipulation. It's longing. It's quiet, careful, and unresolved. When someone is truly melting inside, their presence doesn't vanish when they leave the room. No, it lingers. It echoes. Even in their absence, their essence remains in the air, in the little things that remind you of them. The modern Stoic knows the importance of controlling emotions, of maintaining composure and distance, but even the most disciplined Stoic can't avoid the pull of emotional gravity when a connection runs that deep. Their presence, even when they aren't physically there, continues to affect you. It shows up in songs, in random memories, in moments where you catch yourself thinking of them, sometimes without knowing why. That's the blessing of Stoicism, the ability to remain calm on the surface, even when the internal world is stirred. But even a Stoic can't escape the silent tug of an emotional bond that refuses to be ignored. This isn't about manipulation or trying to force their way back into your life. It's about something much deeper. It's a silent, emotional pull, like an invisible thread linking them to you. The old Stoic might have preached detachment, but the modern Stoic understands that connections this deep can't be ignored, no matter how hard we try. You don't have to see someone to feel them. In fact, sometimes it's when they're not around that their influence is most strongly felt. That's how powerful emotional connections can be, so deep and unresolved that even the silence between you both speaks volumes. Don't mistake their presence for something that's purely physical. When someone is emotionally invested, their influence stretches beyond the room, beyond the immediate moment. Every time you hear a song that reminds you of them, or find yourself thinking about them without any clear reason, it's a reminder that they're still there, even in their absence. You must recognize this. This is emotional orbiting. It's a sign that their feelings run deep, deeper than what words or actions can express. They are present in your life, whether they are physically there or not. And the fact that their absence still leaves a mark means that something real, something significant is happening beneath the surface. If you feel this pull, don't ignore it. Understand that when someone's emotional presence lingers, even when they are not there, it is a reflection of a connection that can't be easily dismissed. A modern Stoic knows this. They understand that not every feeling can be controlled. Some connections, no matter how much we try to distance ourselves, will always find their way back into our thoughts, our hearts, and our lives. That's the true depth of human connection. The blessing of Stoicism is in learning to manage those feelings, but the power comes in understanding that some things are beyond our control, no matter how much we try to suppress them. When someone's presence lingers in your life, it's a sign that their feelings are not just passing. They're something much more permanent. So pay attention. When their absence still feels like presence, know that something powerful is unfolding in the quiet spaces between you both. Hey there, thanks for watching. Have you ever caught these signs in someone, or maybe even in yourself? It's always eye-opening to recognize when someone is melting inside, especially when it's someone you care about. Share your story in the comments. I'd love to hear what you've experienced and how these subtle signs have played out in your own life. If you found this video insightful, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a deep dive into the psychology of love and connection. Remember, sometimes the most powerful connections are the quiet ones, the ones where the heart speaks louder than words. So keep your eyes open and your mind sharp. You never know what emotions are waiting to be uncovered.